Circus people in the city hated autumn. Not because the cold wind drove them into their houses, not because the gray clouds pressed down on their shoulders, but because every fall, on the same day, a traveling circus set up its tent on the outskirts, near the old mill. There were no posters, no advertisements, no music. Just a tent with dark maroon stripes, as if painted with dried blood, and next to it a rusty wagon with a rusty sign, Alvarez Brothers Circus. No one in town knew who the Alvarez brothers were. No one had seen their faces. But everyone knew one thing. If the clowns from this circus knocked on your door, don't open it. That night, the first person to see the circus was Danny, a 12-year-old boy who had always been drawn to all things forbidden. He crept through the bushes, peered through a gap between the old boards that surrounded the grounds, and saw something he would never forget for the rest of his short days. The marquee was filled with people he had never seen before. Their faces were gray, as if there was no blood under their skin. They sat in silence, none of them smiling. In front of them, in the filthy arena, stood 3 figures. 2 thin, haggard men in identical tails with skulls in place of faces. These were the Alvarezes. Between them was a trembling boy in a nightgown. "Sin?" one of the brothers asked. "A lie," muttered the child. The crowd murmured like a beehive. One of the Alvarezes stepped forward, took a silver knife from his pocket, and ran it across the boy's lips. Instead of a scream, there was an eerie whoosh of wind, as if the air had been ripped from his lungs. Danny squeezed his eyes shut, and when he opened them, the child was gone. Just a darkening stain on the arena, as if the ground had swallowed him. Danny sprinted away, out of sight. The house was close. There it was, the light in the window, his trembling hands reaching for the doorknob. But the door wouldn't budge. There was a rustle behind him. He turned around. The clown stood in the shadow of the lantern, unmoving. His long arms dangled like a broken doll's, and his head was tilted to the side as if he were pondering. "Sin?" His voice whispered right inside the boy's head. "Lying?" Danny barely audibly squeezed out. The clown smiled, wide, abnormally. His lips parted so far that dark holes instead of teeth were visible. Danny recoiled, but the ground beneath his feet shifted. He was no longer standing outside his house. He was in the arena, surrounded by the same silent gray crowd. The Alvarez brothers stepped toward him. One of them pulled out a silver knife. The other leaned close to his ear and whispered, "The circus must be replenished." And the curtain closed. The next morning, the tent was gone. Danny was gone, too. But a year later, when the circus came to town again, his mother bought a ticket. And among the clowns gliding slowly across the arena, she saw a skinny figure in a torn suit. His mouth was stretched in an unnatural smile, but his eyes, her son's eyes, silently pleaded for help, help that was not to be received.
Don't miss out on more thrilling stories and exciting content. Hit that subscribe button and turn on notifications to join our growing community. Let's explore the unknown together.